Hey, good morning, everyone, and good evening if you're on the other side of the water. Thank you so much for joining and listening in. I have a really cool guest this morning. I'm really excited to spend some one-on-one time with Michelle. She's part of the Octopus Movement and was there ahead of me, and she's an ambassador. Let's pull her up. Hey, good morning and good evening to you, Michelle.
Hi, Darren. Great to spend some time with you. I haven't chatted to you one-on-one before at all.
Right. We're always in these big groups of, and the conversations within the Octopus Movement, right? They just roll. There's so many ideas and we've had so much fun,
Yeah.
especially that 12-hour thing. That was nuts.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
so who is Michelle? Tell us about who you are a little bit.
Well, it's probably one of my least favorite questions because I don't know. I know where I want to go, kind of in that direction. But I was born in Namibia, the oldest desert in the world. And I grew up in South Africa and now I live in England. So it's a little bit of life. I've studied many things. I've been interested in many things. Don't like rules. Don't like structure too much. So all kinds of octopus, yeah, things. 3 hearts, 9 brains, and 8 arms. That's pretty much it.
I get that for
Yeah.
sure. Are you that multi-potentialite type? Have you had a lot of different career paths or paths of investigation? I could say
Yeah.
careers don't matter anymore,
Yeah.
right?
No, exactly. Well, that's actually how I came across Perry. It was in a clubhouse room that Haley Joy Weinberg was running. And this multi-potentialite guy popped up. He was busy putting his kids to bed, actually, at the time.
Mm.
And it just triggered me because multi-potentialite, the Emily Wapnick talk was kind of spot on for me. It was that so many things that are interesting and so many roads to go down. So, which one to go? I started studying law of all things for 3 years, then
Wow,
studied,
law. What
yeah.
type of law? Because that's a huge
Um,
subject, right?
it is, yeah. So I did a BA of law, so it was kind of undergraduate, still private law, a little bit of everything. But it was 3 years of my life, so it was a bit of a while.
Yeah.
And then went traveling and then came back and finally did what I really wanted to do was psychology, which I then combined with law.
Mm.
Yeah, so a little
Interesting.
bit of everything.
Law and psychology, I think if you're a good lawyer, you are almost a good psychologist. I see a lot of lawyers. I used to do construction. I'm a construction litigation expert. So I'll go in
Oh,
and do like the investigation if someone was ripping you off or something.
yeah,
And a lot of lawyers that are not very confident use manipulation. And the ones that are really smart learn psychology and they learn how to work with other people and they don't manipulate because you actually don't need to manipulate to make it in this world. I fully believe that. And so, a good attorney, I think, is an even better psychologist, honestly.
definitely. And it's understanding the people that you're working with. the problem for me with law was a lack of justice, and I think that is a big
Yeah.
part of why we actually started studying law. Well, to be honest, I started studying law. I went to one of those career development or career assessments when I was in my last year of school. And the guy he said, well, you can do anything, he says, anything you want to do. What do you really like? So I said, well, I love traveling and I love people. And he looked at me and he said, just whatever you do, don't study law because you're going to become a teacher. Don't study psychology. Sorry, don't study psychology. And I did end up studying psychology, and I did end up becoming a teacher for a while. And um, yeah.
What did you teach?
Business studies and life orientation in a tiny little school in a tiny little town where I grew up for kids with learning difficulties.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, so they were all kind of on their last resorts. Wonderful family-run school and very interesting. I mean, that was teaching 101. I actually did my postgraduate certificate in education while teaching there, so
Interesting.
it's quite interesting. Yeah.
What drew you to that side of teaching, right? Because you can teach anything. Why that
Well,
group
it
of
wasn't the
people, or why
teaching.
that aspect?
Yeah, it was definitely not teaching because I think teachers are born, and I am not a teacher. I am the first to admit that. But I started working with the thing, it was called audio blocks, and it was kind of a
Mm.
visual way of learning. And the school asked me to work with one of the boys. It was a wonderful boy. He was in his last year, but there was autism and there was all kinds of things that was not working for him. And being a little bit out of the box was a great aspect, a great thing for him. So he did really well in the end. And then the school approached me and said, "But don't you want to kind of come and work with our other kids as well and become a teacher?" And then
Wow.
I actually went into learning more about teaching and realizing that if only it was about education, it would have probably intrigued me more. But it was very much form filling and things
Mm.
that didn't really get the purpose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes it hard, especially if you're well, not every multi-potentialite type nonlinear person isn't good at paperwork, but I would say it runs in the family.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's just, I think what happens is we see the redundancy and sort of pointlessness of it,
Yeah.
and I think that's it's really cool. The more people I interview of this caliber, we're all
Yeah.
so different, but we all have this strange little X-ray vision in different areas of life. Different sensitivities, allow for different wisdom. I would say, So I really really enjoy spending time with people that see things differently. And it's important, instead of casting those people off, what would it be like if we embraced them like you did? What was your experience embracing the people that weren't embraced?
Oh, it was amazing. You go, teachers always talk about how they teach people, but I learned so much more from those kids that I would have learned in any other situation. I've been in quite a few places where you walk away and you go, wow, that was an amazing experience. And I'm actually still friends with one or two of them. That are very non-linear as well.
Right.
And they're amazing. I mean, we used to go to the pub if they did well, go have a beer and celebrate, you know.
The
Um,
kids?
yeah, well, you could drink when you're 18 in South Africa, so
Ah,
it wasn't illegal in any way
I
much.
think getting kids drunk might be the way.
Well,
This is
yeah,
not endorsed by Michelle, this message.
yeah.
Mickey's really enjoying the conversation. Hey, Mickey, thanks for joining us, and everyone else who's out there. We're just talking about embracing the people that Michelle worked with, the nonlinear, the people that were neurodiverse in the community, or what have you. I see in some small pockets in the U.S. where we are and up in Canada near our reservation where those people aren't quite embraced yet. It still feels like it was when I was a kid in the 90s, where there's stigma associated with that class at the end of the hallway. Or, it was always like that. And to be perfectly honest, I was always in that math and reading kind of area growing up. I could do a lot of the other stuff, but math was killer. But what would it be like, or how could you see a more integrated society where we're not partitioning differences? Or well, you've been in the thick of it. Is it
Yeah.
possible? What would it feel like? Dream with me for a sec. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be what it is.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely possible. I mean, anything is possible if we put our hearts to it. And I think that's where the thing lies with embracing and understanding not even diversity. I mean, I think Perry says it quite well that there is only diversity if there was a middle line or a normal, which there isn't.
Right.
Um, it's just about acknowledging the superpowers of the people that are a little bit different, because the norm, yeah, as I say, there is no normal. It's just a hyped up um, perspective that has no real legs. Yeah.
Right. So at some point we have to get rid of the scale, or the I don't know what that would look like. I mean, school is very systematically made and graded, and but the really strange thing to me is when it's over, it's just dead, right? I mean, you see people at the in the US, you got 12 years of high school, and then you see those people at the 10-year reunion. That's about it,
Yeah.
that doesn't, to me, speak of like, oh, job well done. We built a community of people that are going to work together. All we did is make people that are going to go make themselves bigger, better, faster. And I'm telling you,
And
I did that and almost wrecked my body in you know 25, 30 years, and it's like,
yeah,
what is this system we're creating,
but it's any system, isn't it? As soon
Yeah.
as we have a I don't know what you call it, a box, if we'll call it that, then there's always going to be people that don't fit into it. So how do we create a system that is not a system? We need
Yeah.
to kind of break down all of this stuff because nothing seems to be working, to be honest. There is,
Yeah.
we can go politics and education, and um, none of it works. It's about individuality and connection. And I think that's what the octopus movement does so well, because as you say, we all so very different, but there is something that's the same. It's that we see each other,
Right.
not for whatever the title or the whatever we want to call ourselves. It goes a little bit deeper than that.
Definitely.
Mm.
So, um, certainly you have some superpowers. You can see the people in the room when you get in the room, probably like I do, where you
Mm.
go, 20, 30 people, and maybe you can find your two, if there are two, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Um, what makes you an octopus? What brought you to this thing, this crazy group of fun? Why are you here? And then why did you take it to the not just the next level, but the next level? And you're a community builder. You're here, you're present, and you're really a part of things.
Thank you. That's quite amazing. I don't know. I think it maybe starts with Perry and who he is. It kind of ripples out from that,
Hmm.
and I think everybody that has a conversation with him um, connects on a level which is real, and
Yeah,
that we can all kind of take further, as you do as well, so amazingly. We it's a heartfelt connection. It's more than just, on paper or proclaiming to be whatever, whatever. It's real and it's
hmm,
interesting and it's curious and it's celebratory in who we are and who we can become. So it's kind of that bigger picture. And it's quite an honor, you kind of meet someone and you go, oh, have you heard about the Octopus Movement? Have you? So yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
How did you find Perry or the Octopus Movement, or how did they find you? You know.
Well, Haley Joy Weinberg. I
Mm.
I don't usually go on Clubhouse, but it was a room that she created, and that was before it was called the Octopus Movement. Actually, um, it was still Perry was interviewing people and calling himself the multi-potentialite dude. Um,
Oh, right.
yeah, and and so it escalated. So I was watching it from afar and within, as it is, and yeah, seeing it grow, and then the octopus became this amazing symbol, and that grew. And I mean, I think most of us love rabbit holes and love finding out about more, and this
Yeah,
is one place where there's a lot of rabbit holes.
I like that. Definitely. Can you imagine how many rabbit holes there'll be in a few years? Because we're just getting moving. It's been a lot of fun.
Exactly. And in
Yeah,
every room, really, I mean, on the brain lunch, Mickey kind of joined us from there, and I got to meet Matt there, which is amazing. And the conversations are everybody's kind of on some level of interest to everybody, if that
yeah,
makes sense. So if we go mysticism or alchemy or art or music, or it's just all these directions it's pretty amazing.
yeah. It is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Mm.
It's nice to have a landing point for the thing that you don't necessarily know where to take it, and
Yeah.
like, and sometimes it feels like when I've shown up, I didn't necessarily know that I was going to be looking at something new or looking at myself in a different light, and I get that all the time, which is so
Yeah.
cool. It's so funny. I forgot you were at the brain lunch because I see you in almost all of the spaces. I mean, you are
Yeah.
really within the community. What does that do for you? Because I mean, you're showing up for others, but you're showing up for yourself too, right?
It's exactly that. And there isn't many spaces where you can do that without feeling, oh, that's the weird woman, the weird lady, she's there again. It's such a natural um, place to be and to engage and to get to know people. It's just, yeah, I suppose it's also who we are, because we are busy, we are going through feeds and liking and commenting and engaging and enjoying, so
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's just a natural thing.
Well, I've really enjoyed, just the energy that you bring, and the others too. Everybody has their difference that they tend to shine within the group, and I don't know how Perry makes that possible with, especially when there's so many. Sometimes, I mean, I think I've been in a think tank with 30 people maybe,
Yeah.
and really it was like, who here wants the floor? And I've been in a lot of meetings where there's that's being said, and only a few people feel like they can talk
Yeah.
or have a voice. Yeah. Do you feel like you have a voice at the table?
It is. It's amazing, and I think it's one of Perry's superpowers is to kind of make everyone feel included. I can't remember who it was that said, everyone that has a conversation with him feels like they connected with him specifically, and I think he brings that into the movement for all of us, so that it kind of becomes a natural way of communicating and connecting with each other. Um, there isn't weirdness, it's like,
Yeah,
I love you is a normal thing. It's not oh, that's a bit weird. Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And
You
it's
know,
special, especially in these times where um especially us curious misfits, it is it is good to feel that you can grow within yourself instead of having to bring yourself back and go, I'm a bit much for everybody. It's like you can just really be.
Right.
Mm.
You can be a bit much. I think you can show up and be a bit much, and that's okay.
Well, that's it,
Which
because
I love.
yeah, there is no judgment really, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think I think for me it's definitely been one of those happy accidents where it just, the group and the continuation of the community and just like what we're doing today, that
Mm.
just it continues to be a surprise for me, and I like to see how things unfold. I'm always curious. I'm a builder a little bit. But this
Yeah.
time, the thing I like is that I can get in and help build some things, and also I can sit back and heal.
Yeah.
And Perry always is honoring where I am as a person first. He sees the tools behind me and the things I can do, but
Yeah.
always he's saying, are you good? How are you first? And then let's, if you're able to do this for the movement or for me, can you?
Yeah.
But it's always open-handed, and I always feel safe with him. And that's the other thing is he's created some huge rooms of people of with all kinds of neurodiversities. And
Mm.
the one thing he doesn't put up with is any like really bullying or narcissistic bullshit. And that
Yeah.
is what I think a lot of people don't get. They don't get Big Brother walking in the room with you and going, no, man, you're out of here. And I've seen him throw someone, not throw because we're on a Zoom, but like, nope, you're done here.
Yeah.
You're ruining the safeness of the space, which honors the ideas and the humanity behind the conversation.
Yeah.
What's been your experience? Because you've been here longer than me in that.
Exactly that. And I must say, I haven't seen it often, but I was on a call once, and it was like, "Hey, dude, no, this isn't it." And it
Yeah.
was, it isn't something that you see if you are who we are, I suppose. But to see it kind of put things into perspective. If it's not just a ooh happy clappy kind of vibe,
Yeah.
there's actually there is an unseen structure almost to it, which is about love and non-judgment and all those things. But it's there, which keeps us
Mm.
safe, and it helps us create our stories a bit more as well, because we often, when you have all these things and you've done all this stuff, you filter it often when you have to explain who you are or what you do, because you can't be doing all that stuff and you couldn't have done all those things, and so it gives you wings to really go, wait, you know what, this is who I am and this is the stuff I've done, and that's it, and so
Mm.
you build those stories as well, because we block us, or we've been taught to block certain areas of our lives off, and it's great
Yeah,
to know to build them. It's fine, it's okay. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
You saying that reminds me, if you were to look at my LinkedIn profile, like that's where I've gotten most of my business in the last 20 years. Like I've really survived and thrived from the community of people with not
Yeah.
paying any money for advertising, doing things like what we're doing today. But if you look at the list of that's on there, it's really cleaned up. It's
Yeah.
made for the linear person to look at.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if I should, at this stage in my life, go back and fix that and go, people look at the list and go, well, what do you mean you can run a business and you're a finish carpenter and a painter and a this, and like, I started writing a list 2 days ago of the skills that I have that are actual skills, like people
Yeah.
get paid for, and it's pretty ridiculous. Um, I'm, and not to like boast, but it's the thing is, I think what I've been doing my whole life is searching for the one thing and thinking like, I'm going to get this down and then this is the thing I can settle into. And the
Yeah.
one thing, being around these type of folks is that, and being around you, honestly, and, looking even in your website, that you're seeing, embrace yourself, embrace the change, and don't worry about what yesterday looked like to anybody else. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter, anyways, but the hodgepodge of skills that we maybe even feel embarrassed about, like, oh God, I've had all these things, why doesn't my life look a certain way or whatever.
Yeah.
There are millions of people that wish they could do 5 of the 50 or 100 things that you can do, and so what would it look like if we could embrace that and not be embarrassed about it? How do we do
Yeah.
that and be looked at in business, as
Well,
a real person, I guess, because people dismiss people like that have too many things.
yeah. But we are the people, who
I
are those
know.
people?
Yeah.
We're so used to going, oh, how, but we make the rules, as Perry would say, fuck the rules.
Yeah.
There are no
Who
rules.
are
It's
these
all made
people?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Amen to that.
Yeah. And I mean, when we moved over, so we moved as a young family over from South Africa to the UK. I was a psychometrist at the time, so
Hey,
psychological
what?
assist, a psychometrist.
What is that?
That is measurement. So it's all about measurement and psychological measurement and tests and personality and IQ tests and all those kinds of
Whoa.
things and putting them all in boxes. Yeah. And then coming here and having to now streamline me as a person looking for work, where I've worked for myself always and done many different things, as we do. And I just tried it for a while and I was like, fuck that. It's just too much to now
Yeah.
try and find yourself in this place where these other people aren't even happy. So why must I now try and be like them? And it's not working. So yeah, from there it was kind of, okay, well, let's play. I think it's all about finding that space where you can play, and maybe the money comes hopefully at some point. um, but life is more than these linear rules. And yes, I saw someone said, we can write our non-linearity into our whatever profiles or whatever, but we can also do what we want, because we are already loved by
Yeah.
by things much bigger than other people or businesses or bank accounts or white picket fences or whatever it is that we think we need.
I just kind of want to sit in that. That's a great, I mean, that's a good thing to just remind ourselves is, what are we really doing? Calm down, right?
Yeah.
Give yourself the opportunity to have some joy. It is tough, to be honest, coming out of the last couple years. Now everybody understands the sting, right? Of getting back to life with no money, and what do you do? And really the most difficult thing I see with people that are non-linear or differently minded, or whatever word you want to use, is that there's always this financial thing. I can't paint and do my work, and these are the people, like, if you could just provide food and lodging for, that's all they need. And the world would be a better world for it if we did that, and we don't. I'm not saying like we should be, rigidly communistic and then elevate the artist public, but I mean, we should honor everyone's abilities, because when people sit in their natural gifting, so much more comes out of it. And I'm learning to do that. It's very hard for me to not jump to the next thing. I've had, if I say several businesses, that's undercutting. I've had too much. And I've had lots of injuries in my life, and I always rush back into life because of the money. I should say because of the fear of money, not knowing what to
Exactly.
do.
So that's that fear element,
Yeah.
opposed to trust. We in life, in school, in business, in the media, we bombarded with fear and lack. So, what, Darren, what are you going to do? How are you going to make this work? And it's constantly focusing on that instead of trying to go, okay, well, I just need
Yeah,
to breathe and find a level of trust, whether you believe in whatever you believe. Um, but maybe there is a higher power that doesn't work on business acumen, or you're not acumen, on bank accounts, or whether you have your things in place as you think you should.
absolutely. I can tell you that being, I'm not just meaning to keep going back to the octopus movement here, but like being around these people has solidified opening my mind to new ideas. Yoka's husband was a human design
Oh
professional,
yeah. Oh,
and
okay.
I had not known really about that. Dorothy Auger, who recently passed away, is
Yeah.
the one who introduced me to Perry, and
Yeah.
she was a human design coach as well. And for my entire life, if you'd approached me with that, I'd have listened to you politely. I'd have let you've done my reading or whatever it was, and I would have walked away, and you would have thought we had a good conversation, because it was, but I wouldn't have gone, I'm going to investigate this one level deeper. But I can tell you, I've investigated the neurology side of my brain and all these. I've tried all of the stuff. Most of my doctors, I can get to a point, and I've outlearned where they are because they stopped learning the new stuff.
Yeah.
And so you're like, wait a second, I thought I could trust this person. And so what I'm realizing is everybody's just kind of making things up at some level. Professionalism
Yeah.
is a mirage, and it's a moving target, right?
Yeah.
The human being is not easily defined, and so what I've noticed is just being open to that human design idea. One of the things, I'm a manifesting generator is
Yeah, I saw that. Me
the thing.
too, actually.
Yeah, I think my number's like a 2-4. I don't know, but it's the thing is called the Hermit. The guy, the label. So I kind of read into that and investigated, and I thought, wow, I always thought I was an extrovert, but I realized when I put together the space I'm sitting in now, this
Yeah.
studio space, I can actually feel way better when I'm in this space longer and
Mm.
choose when my interactions are happening. And I spent my entire life being just, always with people, always interacting. And I think that wasn't good for me, And so, you get into an environment with people like yourself that go, oh yeah, and of course I've heard of that. And then enough people say that, you go, maybe there's something to just listen to. And how fun is that? As we get growing, Mickey's here. She's a human design
I
coach,
know.
and that's so funny. Oh no, she's a 2-4 as well. I am so sorry, Mickey. I knew I recognized something in you. That's why you have so many animals in your life. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
that's
trying
so
to
funny.
arrange a call with Mickey and Gloria, because Gloria is very knowledgeable on the Enneagram. So we want to
Okay,
have a chat around, because it's all about energy, isn't it?
it
It's about,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
and how you choose. So for you, you probably didn't get to choose the people you were around in your other life, or your previous life, and now you get to choose, and you can create your space around that, which is quite cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when the one thing is when you go all in on yourself, and it's funny, as I have done business consulting where I tell this to other people, don't chase the money. Go back to where you started. Go back to that original idea and feeling. Find that feeling. But when you lose that and chase it, you're chasing wind, right? You can never find it. And when you go internal and you find out what matters, you do realize those weren't they weren't the wrong people. I put myself in the wrong place over and over and over again, and I can choose to no longer do that. And what kind of power did I just give myself when I go, oh, I don't have to build multi-million-dollar homes for people that don't care about me, you
Yeah.
know? You know,
There's Gloria as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Man, thanks to
Yeah.
everybody for joining us today. It's been, gosh, we're already 35 minutes, and I don't want to wrap up the show without talking about a couple things. Your content college is such a cool thing. Give us a quick, 1 or 2 minutes, because I want to talk about Refresh for the holidays,
Yeah.
before we wrap. So, what is content college? What are you doing there?
So it's building a tribe really, and finding rabbit holes to go down inside a little bit of structure. So um, ideas inspire impact is the logo, or the thing that I'm trying to focus on, and it's kind of trying to create a space similar to the Octopus Movement, in that I want us to discuss topics and go down rabbit holes and find out more about things that we maybe not allowed to talk about, because we being put don't talk about epigenetics, or I don't know, whatever. So every month I've got a theme. This month is celebration, so it's kind of everything kind of falls into place as it does when you looking at something. When you're looking for the red car, that's all you see is a red car. um, January is confidence, and then then we have connection, but it's not me. So it's all the people within in the group, and I invite someone to have a conversation with. So like this, we record a conversation and I put it on the platform, and then I have a masterclass where I invite someone to come and teach us something about something within that theme every month.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of that, and it all goes onto a platform, and people can access it from there. We have a WhatsApp group, and we talk about the moon and about crystals and about whatever it is that we're discussing, or share events that we want people to find out about. Yeah,
Oh,
and
cool.
create collaborations, all kinds of things around that. But it's really about a tribe more than a community, because I think in a tribe we have the weirdos and you know we love everybody. They don't have to think like us necessarily.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When you did the brain lunch, were you trying to do something different with your content college? Were you looking for inspiration? What brought you to that?
Um, well, about learning, it's always about learning, and bringing more to the table, and understanding about how how do we make it better? Because I think, as you said earlier, it's like professionalism isn't anymore about, oh, I've got a doctor's degree. It's about how much did you learn today or yesterday or last week, and how open you are to learning more all the time, and to help. No, I hate that word. I'm not there to help anybody. To encourage people to kind of go um, down rabbit holes, I suppose. Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
definitely. Um, and you got this other thing coming up. You were saying if you are having some issues with the holidays, what is that?
Yeah,
This so
it's
Perry's in. You got Perry roped into this.
well, it's actually Chris Michelle, who is also
Oh,
a
okay.
founding member with the Octopus Movement. He brought us all into a room and said, "Well, let's do something." And this is the first thing that we're doing. So it's Refresh for the holidays. It's happening tomorrow. I think it's what's it, noon Eastern time. So that's 5 p.m. GMT UK time, and it is Kevin Monroe, who's the gratitude guy. He's
Okay.
created this movement called I Am Grateful for You. And he's got little cards, and, that's kind of his motto. He's doing a thing with us around the gratitude experience, and really focusing on the things that we're grateful for. And then Laurie Seitz, who is Zen Rabbit, and she's got a podcast called Fine is a Four-Letter Word. It's all around, you know, we should stop pretending to be okay when we're not,
Oh,
and
I
just,
like that.
yeah. So it's finding the
Mm.
calm in the chaos, because it's not a nice time for everyone. It's really hard for us who are far away from home, or there's we've lost people over the past. We're always going to lose people, and this time of the year is quite difficult for that. So it's kind of an hour and
Yeah.
a half of just getting together and going, okay, let's
Mm,
let's get ready for whatever it is and whoever we want to be within it.
that's pretty cool. I'm glad you're doing that. We certainly need, to figure out a more presence and a calmer state of being. And if we can all do that internally, you're not going to run outside and be so pissed off, it really, I hate to say it because the people that hear this hate to hear it, but it really is a choice. I'm working my way out of that.
Yeah.
I used to be the angry driver, the guy that you go, who the hell just did that in that truck? I was that guy. And,
Yeah.
it's actually, it's a little embarrassing to be that, but it's also nice to acknowledge that I'm not that anymore, and I can change, and that there's other people out there that are going to walk me and point me in the other direction, like yourself. You do that when you show up with a calm presence of mind. It's why you have a group of people, at your content college that are with you. And it's why, it's why I'm with Perry. It's the same reason, it's my presence is honored, and everyone else's presence is honored. And I just, we all need more of that, especially before the holidays.
Yeah.
Michelle, this has been a killer show. I have really enjoyed, all the stuff that you've shared, just from the seed of how you got here to, to just the individual, times you've been within the movement and what that does to the next person. I call it the ripple. You'll never see it. You never get to see the ripple, and just know that you are making ripples, and that is a wonderful thing, because it just, one creates another, and they're addictive. And so, my hopes and prayers is that anyone else listening finds a seat at the table here. There's no entrance fee other than being yourself. And, and we're not growing for numbers. We're growing for quality of people and connection to humanity. And so if you're looking for a landing place, that's why Michelle is joining me this morning. That's why I'm here, just out of love for Perry and for everyone else here. So if you've joined us this morning, I want to thank you. Specifically, I want to take a moment and thank, you've got a couple people here that must know who you are. They're saying they're
Cool.
hype.
Thanks, Sonia.
We'll say hi to them real quick before we wrap. We
Hello,
really
Sonia.
do appreciate every viewer that stops by, and it really is wonderful. And I'm not getting all the names showing up, so if we don't see your name, we just appreciate you being present with us. More than anything, I'm really grateful for you, Michelle, and your time. It's late in the evening for you. It's early morning, so this is just easy for me. But we do appreciate the fact that you showed up. Maybe you were a little nervous, maybe not, but nobody knew it, because this was a really insightful conversation, whether you knew it or not. I mean, you said some things that I hope some other people are going to connect with, this upcoming week. And so if you guys have the need or would like to reach out to Michelle, her links were in the posts, but also go to her content college and you can check out that refresh for the holiday thing that's happening. And that's what time? That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. So most of them are Atlanta side, I think. So that's Eastern time, 12 p.m.
Okay.
And UK time, it's 5 p.m. for an hour and a half.
Michelle, thank you for everything today. This has been
Thanks,
so
Peter.
cool. what a blessing to have you. We'll talk really soon. I'm sure you'll be at the next whatever event or meeting Perry
Oh,
has to elevate the community. So blessings,
thank
my
you.
friend.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. All right. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Everyone, this has been a really cool show. Really, I'm looking to connect with the people within the Octopus Movement. Individuals, doesn't matter what your business or profession is, what brought you here, why join something like this that doesn't necessarily have rules or boundaries or borders. But we're grateful if you have joined. We're grateful for the people that are part of it. We're just here to uplift each other and to create a community of nonlinear people where your differences don't matter, and we honor your authenticity. So grateful for everyone that showed up today. Thank you.